Dzogchen Today podcast.
Hi everyone, thank you very much for joining us for this third and last episode dedicated on the life force. I'm here in a wonderful place in La Sauveté in southwestern France with still Mila Khyentse Rinpoche.
Still, yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us again.
Thanks for having me
in this third episode.
Yes, and in this beautiful place.
Wonderful place of La Sauveté in southwest of France. Mila Khyentse, you're a trained scholar. You are a consultant and you have been traditionally trained in the Himalayas and in Europe as well, and you're a lineage holder.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So in the previous episode we've seen an aspect of the life force in the West and also in the Himalayan worlds. We've seen as well the causes of the loss of vital energy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the second episode, we've seen as well what is the external life force and the internal life force, and the interrelation between these two, that they are not
separated. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we've seen also the importance of the offering and also
the receiving.
Mm-hmm. So this episode we are going to dedicate it specifically to some practice, some breathing practice, because we've seen that the vital force is directly linked to the vital breath.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So you will show us some practice afterwards. Maybe, I hope.
We'll see.
So maybe before that, would you remind us the main principle of this life force?
Sure. As we said in the previous episodes, one thing I remember really vividly, it's the sniffy.
Yes.
The sniffy Karin was talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's nothing related to that.
Oh.
It means that the life force is not, as we said, is not an object, is not something that is determined by any substances. You cannot develop it by taking any substances, by driving any car, and so on and so on. So it's a subtle relationship between you yourself and the environment, and so it's a close relation. It's a deep relation between your surroundings and yourself. In the Tibetan tradition, your surroundings are not just trees, grass, river, etc. It's the living aspects of this. Because all surround you is really it's a living thing, not only with the animals and so on, but it's this life force is a global life force, and it's like also it's a bit related to the subtle teachings. But it's the combination of all the elements: the space, the fire, the water, the air, and the earth. And so this, all these combined are the life force, the external life force. So we say the life force is connected to the elements, to the natural elements, and these natural elements are within the trees, grass, the animals, etc.
And the invisible world as well. We were
as well.
Yes, about the
exactly.
Yesterday.
Yeah, we were talking about
the last episode.
Yeah, in the last episode, which was maybe yesterday. I don't remember. The thing is that all this landscape and so on For the Tibetan world, for Tibetan culture, it's related to living beings, and these living beings, yes, usually you cannot see them unless you are trained, or unless we say also unless these beings just contact you, or they have something to say to you, and so on. So this is really important, because this life force is really connected to the living beings. Beings, it's not just human or animal again. So this thing is the most important. It's living, and as you are living, you are breathing, you are in motion, you have inner and outer movements, and this is we say your inner life force, but the outer life force is exactly the same. It's really connected to the living aspect of the reality. So the second point about this vital force is that this vital force and your vital force, the inner and the outer, are all the time in a connected movement. And this connection is made by your breathing process, the way that you breathe in, you breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. So when you breathe in, we say that the external life force just mingle to your own. And when you breathe out, your inner life force is going back to the outer life force. And this is really interesting in this way, because we say, when we talk about the last breath,
the moment of the death.
Yes, the end of your existence, then we say that all this vital force, all this life force is going back to the external life force.
The last offering, we could say? Or?
Yes, we can say that. If you are trained to just remember yourself, or remind yourself at the last time, okay, this is my last offering to all the living beings, then it will be a really meaningful, we say, a meaningful death, because you give back your life force to the universal, we say, the universal life force. And this is all about this connection, this pure connection between your own life force and the outer life force. Because we saw in the previous episodes that the main problem in this time, in these periods of time in our societies, is that usually we just we are just meant to take, in the outer world, and yes, it's really related to consuming, to consumerism, but we never give back. And this is actually the main point of the life force system, the life force process. And this is, the exercises we will just do in a minute are connected to that. You concentrate on this exchange, on this natural exchange of breath from the inner to the outer, and from the outer to the inner. So we have several practices connected to the life force and to the elements, the outer elements and the inner elements. But we will talk about two main, because they are actually the main practices we have. It's called Lungta. So this is the first one. Lungta, it's the wind horse.
Is the flag as well?
The prayer flags, in Tibet.
It spreads.
Yes, it's exactly the same. The same process when the prayer flags are wavering, they are just spreading with the wind, the prayers everywhere. So this is why we say it's the wind. The wind is the support of the life force. And in Tibet, Lungta, Ta is the horse. Lung is the wind, when it's the external vital force. And why the horse? Two things again. The horse in ancient times was the mammal, the quickest mammal, the one which is the fastest mammal alive, animal alive. The second category was the bird category, of course, about this swift and strengthful animals. So this is the first point. And the second point is that, as we said, the vital force is connected to the living beings. So if you say wind in the Tibetan tradition, it's not enough. And this is why we talk about the horse wind, or the wind of the horse, because it's connected to the qualities of this living being. So it means that this life force breathing process is twofold. It's really swift and really strengthful, full of strength. So this is exactly what is this exercise about. And it's really easy. I mean, the base of the exercise is really easy to do. It's just breathing in and breathing out. But with something that is connected also with the visualization, because in these traditions, Tibetan Buddhism and Dzogchen, we try to do the same and to align the body, the speech and the mind all together. So this exercise we will just do in a minute is breathing in and out, but visualizing also something at the same time. We will visualize what we call in Sanskrit, and we talked about that in the previous episode as well, is the prana. The prana in Sanskrit is this life force, particles of life force, which are everywhere. And we will try to visualize that during our breathing process. So we start. So if you sit down, on a chair, for example, or like me on the bench, you just sit straight and your feet flat on the ground. It's quite important here because you make the connection with the ground, with the earth. Exactly. So this is quite important to be really stable on the ground. And then you focus your gaze on one point on the ground and with your hands on your knees. And then what you will do is that when you breathe in, you visualize at the same time that there is trillions of particles. If you can, you visualize really a lot of life force particles.
From all colors?
So from
5 colors?
5 colors. It's the traditional way to just visualize that. Or one color like white or golden particles. That's really fine. So you visualize that all these particles are just filling all the universe. Everywhere.
And very shiny.
And very shiny, really bright, and full of life. You feel like it's really full of life, but in a really gentle manner. We will see that there is a second exercise which will be more, we can say, roughful. Here it's a really gentle exercise. So the process will be that when you visualize that, and when you will breathe in, you will visualize that all these life force particles will just get in your body and will fill completely the body from feet to head, everywhere. And this will revitalize you, will give you a lot of strength, but in a really gentle way. And at the same time, so you breathe in. So when you breathe in, you breathe in a really gradual way, not like this, and just like I am making a strange noise, but it's for you to hear. So really gradual, and you try to push without forcing, without pressure. You try to just push the air down. And at the same time, so you visualize that these particles just follow the air. And then you just stay put, like, for 3 seconds, concentrating without breathing. You hold the air, and then you visualize that all these particles fill in your body. They are everywhere inside your body.
Vibrating or...
Like, yes, really luminous. It's like, there is a big lamp inside your body, and there is a lot of light. And then you breathe out, again, in a gentle manner, gradually. And then when you breathe out, you imagine that all your impurities, we call it the dead wind in Tibetan, rolung. This is a Tibetan term. When you breathe out, all these impurities are just going out. They are not impure for the universal life force. They are just impure for you. So they are just going out, and
naturally
that's it.
Going back to
naturally. Just without visualizing something
specific.
In a specific manner. And so you just think that all these impurities are going out when you breathe out. You hold for 2 seconds, and then you continue that way, breathing in, breathing out.
And is there any special place where we should do that? Because we are here in La Sauveté, in this natural environment.
It's a really good question, yes. This is better to do that if you live in a city, for example. It's better to do that in parks where you can find nature.
Some greens.
Some green place, or even you can just go in a forest or so on. It's also better to avoid the fields, the crop fields, because there is also some pollution. So if you can, just go to more natural places like forest and so on. If you cannot, the parks are fine. And then you can do that in this kind of place. But you can do that at home as well, in the morning. It's better to do that in the morning. Yes. So if you are in an apartment, yes, if you cannot find the right conditions, then it's fine. It's just fine to do that at home and every morning. So we try to do that a bit. So we breathe in, and at the same time, we imagine that all these particles are coming into your body. We hold a bit, and then we breathe out gradually, and all the impurities from your body are just going out. We hold for 2 to 3 seconds, and we breathe in again, imagining that all these life force particles are entering your body. We hold and we breathe out. We hold a bit. We breathe in. We hold and we breathe out. And at the same time, all the time, you remember the visualization. The visualization follows your breathing process. And you can continue that way for, in the beginning, 10 minutes, it's fine. 5 to 10 minutes, it's fine. After 1 month, you can just increase up to 30 minutes. And then when we finish this exercise, we just breathe out in a really gradual way, one last time. And it's over. So here it's just to introduce this exercise. And then you can just redo it, on a regular basis, every day if you can, because it's really important to just increase this life force, especially if your life force is not really strong. And then the second exercise is more roughful than this one. We use a really strange gesture, is that we will use our legs and we will try to hit them on the ground, just like this. And your 2 feet just flat, directly hitting the ground at the same time for the shock. And this shock, it creates a shock wave that will just rise up into your body, and we will use this movement to just visualize, just imagine that there is a lot of strength coming from the ground. So this is what we say also, your feet are in contact with the earth, and this is, this contact in the tradition is also a source of life force. So it's like this life force is coming from the earth elements, coming from the earth and filling your body from the feet to the head, but in a really strong and immediate manner. Not like, the gradual process we just did, but now at that time it's like, a wave and a really strong wave coming from down to up. So at the same time, when you do that, you will imagine that this life force coming from the ground is really filling you up.
Up the head.
Up to the head, up to the crown. And then you will feel a strong energy coming from the ground.
Can be some heat or...
It can be some heat, some, I don't know, it can tickle, it can be,
like bubbles,
etc. But the most important is this movement, this rising movement. And this exercise is called the Dralha. Dralha in Tibetan is... we say it's a kind of vital strength and vital force, which you can feel when you concentrate in that way.
Okay, so it's not only imagine, it's also
feeling.
Something that we can feel.
Yes, so we imagine, and maybe after 3 to 4 times, when you repeat that, then you will try. The feeling will arise and you will feel this strength. So the process is that just, when you sit down like this, you just raise your legs up and just hit the ground at the same time. And just with the shock, you imagine that all this wave, you just accompany this wave up to your head. And then at the same time, you just feel that strength coming up. So you can repeat this process 10 times, for example. We will just do 5 times. But when you do that at home, again, in the morning it's better. Then you can repeat it 10 times, and 10 times that way. Okay, so we start. We concentrate. Again, your gaze on one point. And then first the legs. And you imagine that this wave is coming up. Feel your body. Again. 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 and again. And then in the end, you can just visualize or concentrate yourself into these waves, just rising up, filling your body, and giving you a lot of strength. And then that's it. You can let go in the end. Nothing else to do. So this is why it's important to do it regularly, but also to use, this movement 10 times at least. So 10 to 15 times. It's the best, because you will feel in a different way. Because if you do that just for 2 to 3 times, it's not enough. So you need at least 10 times.
And we agree that in this practice there is no breathing. We don't accompany with breathing. It's only imagine.
Yes, because it's
feeling.
Exactly, because it's a better way to connect to your inner sensations. And the first one is really dedicated to the breathing, and this one is more dedicated to trying to reconnect to your inner sensations. Because also with our life nowadays, in this time, then we lose this connection. So this is why it's better to just concentrate onto the movement and the inner sensation of the movement. And that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for this precious exercises and for this explanation. It was very, very interesting, because it's quite rare to hear about that.
It is, yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I hope we will have some more podcasts maybe on this topic. Who knows?
Who knows?
But for sure we will have some more podcasts.
Yes.
So stay tuned for our next episodes. And thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You can find more episodes on your website dzogchentoday.org. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate and review us on your favorite podcast app and share it with your friends. We will be pleased to receive your feedbacks on podcast@dzogchen.